Introduction. Words of the Awakened Mind, as Buddha told of the hidden depths of the mind. Dear children of humanity, sit under the shade of the tree of knowledge. Today, I tell you about the greatest secret you carry within yourself, the subconscious, this endless well of wisdom and healing. Like a river that flows underground and nourishes all the trees above ground, so your subconscious nourishes your every day, every thought, every dream. It is a bridge between the visible and invisible worlds, between what you know and what you feel. Many years ago, I sat under a Bodhi tree and watched the leaves move in the wind. I realized that each leaf has its own dance, but they are all connected by one trunk, one root system. So it is with our mind. Conscious thoughts are like leaves, but they all grow from the deep root system of the subconscious. Chapter 1. The Story of the Gardener and the Hidden Seeds. Once upon a time, there was a gardener named Ananda who inherited a garden from his grandfather. The garden was beautiful, but Ananda was troubled by why some of his plants bloomed like in paradise and others withered, even though he watered them the same way, gave them the same soil and the same sun. He experimented for months. He changed fertilizers, repotted plants, changed watering. Nothing helped. Some plants simply refused to thrive. Ananda began to doubt his abilities as a gardener. One day, exhausted by failure, he fell asleep right in the garden under an old mango tree. He had a wonderful dream. In his dream, he saw an endless network of roots underground, spreading like a golden spiderweb under the entire garden. Some of the roots were clean, strong, and shone with a soft light. Others were tangled, damaged, some even black from old wounds. An old sage with long white hair appeared beside him and said, "Gardener, what you see on the surface is only a reflection of what is happening deep down. Every plant carries within it the memory of all the seeds from which it sprang. Some seeds were sown with love, others with anger or indifference." Ananda asked, "But how can I change what is already in the roots?" The sage smiled. "Son, you don't have to change the past, but you can add new love, new care every day. Talk to your plants, sing to them, share your joys and worries with them. Gradually, even the most damaged roots will begin to heal." When Ananda woke up, he felt a new peace in his heart. He began to walk through the garden every morning and talk to each plant. He told them about his dreams, the beauty he saw in them, and his gratitude for their existence. At first, it seemed silly to him, but gradually he noticed the changes. The plants that had been wilting began to slowly turn green. Their leaves stood up, as if listening to his words. After a year, his garden was the most beautiful in the entire region. People came from far and wide to see the miracle. Ananda always told them, "The miracle is not in what you see. The miracle is in the love you feel for what you grow." Lesson. Your subconscious is like the soil of your soul. Nurture it with love and patience. Plant seeds of positive thoughts, gratitude, and compassion in it. Even old wounds can heal if you water them with kindness every day. Chapter 2. The Story of the Fisherman and the Mirror Lake. In a mountain village, there lived a young fisherman named Tenzin. His father was the best fisherman in the region, but he died when Tenzin was still a child. The young man decided to continue his father's trade and become just as good a fisherman. Every morning, he would go to the lake, which was so clear that it reflected the sky like a perfect mirror. But when he cast his net, he caught almost nothing. Day after day, he would return home empty-handed, while other fishermen had a bountiful catch. Tenzin felt like a failure. He remembered how his father always brought home baskets full of fish, how the whole village looked forward to his catches. Maybe I don't have the talent, he thought sadly.
One day, he met an old fisherman named Lobsang by the lake, who was sitting on the bank watching the water. "Why aren't you fishing?" Tenzin asked. Lobsang smiled. "I'm fishing, son, but not for fish. I'm fishing for understanding." "What do you mean?" "Son, you're only looking at the surface. You see a beautiful mirror, but the real life is below the surface. Your father was a great fisherman because he didn't just know how to cast a net, he knew how to read the language of water." Tenzin sat down next to the old man. "Teach me." Lobsang gestured to the lake. "What do you see?" "Water, the reflection of the mountains, the reflection of the sky." "And what don't you feel?" Tenzin closed his eyes. Gradually, he began to perceive things he had previously overlooked. He could feel the gentle currents of air above the water, hear the almost inaudible sounds below the surface, feel the light refracting in different parts of the lake. "Fish," Lobsang said quietly, "live in a world we cannot see. They have their own ways, their own rhythms, their own secrets. To catch them, you must become part of their world." Tenzin spent the next few weeks at the lake differently. Instead of throwing his net right away, he sat quietly and watched. He learned to recognize the signs, how the water changed color, where circles appeared, how shadows moved beneath the surface. He began to notice that fish behave differently in the morning than in the evening, differently in sunny weather than in cloudy weather. He learned to read their invisible tracks. Gradually, his catches improved. But the most important thing was something else. Tenzin discovered that fishing is not just about catching fish. It is about connecting with nature, understanding the rhythms of life, patience, and respect. One day, a young boy came up to him and asked, "How come you are such a good fisherman?" Tenzin smiled and pointed to the lake. "Because I have learned to listen to what I cannot see." Lesson: your subconscious is like a deep lake. Learn to listen to its quiet voices, intuition, dreams, sudden insights. They are gifts from the depths of your wisdom. The real treasures of life are often hidden beneath the surface of the things we see. Chapter 3: The Story of the Weaver of Invisible Threads. In ancient times, in the city of silk weavers, there lived a man named Kailash, who inherited a weaving workshop from his father. He was a skilled craftsman, but his carpets were ordinary, soulless. Customers bought his products, but no one returned for them. Kailash decided to visit the famous master Dharma, who lived in the mountains and wove the most beautiful carpets in the entire kingdom. People said that his carpets had magical powers. They could bring peace to restless homes and joy to sad hearts. The journey to the mountains took 3 days. When Kailash arrived at the master's hut, he was surprised. He expected a large workshop with the most modern looms, but he found only a small room with a simple loom. Master Dharma was an old man with kind eyes. "Welcome, son. I know why you have come. You want to learn my secret." "Yes, master. My carpets are technically perfect, but they do not bring people joy." "What is your secret?" The master smiled. "I will show you. But first, tell me, what do you see when you look at my loom?" Kailash observed. "I see the threads, I see the pattern that you weave." "And what don't you see?" Kailash thought. "I don't know." "Sit down and watch," said the master, and began to weave. Kailash watched all day. The master worked slowly, with great attention. Sometimes he stopped, closed his eyes, and seemed to be listening to something invisible. Sometimes he smiled, sometimes he looked thoughtful. "Master," Kailash asked in the evening, "why do you sometimes stop?" "Because I am listening," answered the master. "Every carpet has a soul. The visible threads are just the body. The invisible threads of love, hope, dreams, and memories, that is its soul. But how can you weave something invisible? The master put his hand on his heart. When I weave, I think of the people who will use the carpet. I imagine a mother playing on it with her children. I see an old man resting on it after a hard day. I feel the joy of a young bride laying it in her new home. Kailash spent the next week with the master. He learned not only the techniques of weaving, but above all, how to put his heart into his work. Every morning, the master taught him, before you start weaving, ask yourself, who will this carpet help? What story will it tell? What emotions will it carry? Kailash learned to meditate before work. He imagined the people who would use his carpets. He wove with love, with hope, with the wish of happiness for the future owners. When he returned home, his carpets had changed. He still used the same threads, the same techniques, but something was different. People began to say that his carpets brought peace and harmony to the home. One day, a woman came to him with a small child. "My son is sick and sleeps badly. They told me that your carpets have healing powers." Kailash wove a special carpet for this child. While working, he thought about health, about peaceful sleep, about a mother's love. When the carpet was finished, the child really slept better on it and soon recovered. "How is that possible?" people asked. Kailash replied, "A carpet is just a thread, but the love you put into it is the real magic." Lesson: your subconscious weaves the story of your life with an invisible thread of love, hope, and dreams. Trust the process. Even if you don't understand the pattern, know that something beautiful is being created. Put your heart into everything you do, and your work will have the power to heal and inspire. Chapter 4: The Story of the Healer and the Inner Light. In a small village at the foot of the Himalayan peaks, there lived a healer named Pemba. He was no ordinary doctor. He could not only cure diseases, but he could heal the whole person. People came to him from far away because his treatment was different from anything they knew. Pemba never began by examining the illness. He always first talked to the patient for a long time, listening to his story, trying to understand not only his physical ailments, but also his worries, joys, fears, and dreams. "Illness," he used to say, "is just the body's way of crying out for help." But real illness often begins in the heart or mind. One day, a woman named Dolma came to him. She suffered from a mysterious illness. All her joints ached, she was constantly tired, and no doctor could help her. Pemba talked to her for a long time. He learned that Dolma had lost her husband a year ago, and that since then she had felt as if she had lost the meaning of life. She was caring for her sick mother-in-law, raising 3 children alone, and had no time or space for her own grief. "Dolma," Pemba told her kindly, "your body carries the burden of not only physical fatigue, but also unsaid pain. The light of healing burns within each of us. Sometimes it is obscured by fear, pain, or doubt. My job is to help that light again." Pemba didn't just treat her with herbs and massages. He taught her meditation, encouraged her to find a moment for herself every day. But most of all, he taught her how to talk to her body. "Your subconscious listens to every word, every thought," he explained. "When you say, 'I am sick,' your body hears it and believes it. Try saying instead, 'I am on the path to recovery. My body is strong and wise. It deserves love and care.'" At first, Dolma felt like she was talking to herself, but Pemba encouraged her. "Talk to your heart as if it were your best friend. Talk to your aching joints as if they were a tired child who needs comfort. Be kind to yourself. Pimba also gave her a special assignment. Every night before you go to sleep, put your hands on your heart and thank your body for everything it does for you. Thank your heart for beating, your lungs for breathing, your legs for carrying you. Doma began to follow this practice. At first, she felt silly, but gradually she discovered something surprising. Her body actually responded to kind words. The pain subsided, she slept better, she felt stronger. After 3 months, she was almost healthy. But the most important change was something else. She found joy in life again. She started painting, which she loved to do before her wedding, and even fell in love again. "How did you do it?" Pembe asked. "I didn't do anything," he replied with a smile. "I just helped you find the healer who was inside you all along, your own love." Doma became a healer herself. She taught other women how to talk to their bodies with love, how to find the strength to heal within themselves. Lesson learned. Your subconscious is your greatest ally in healing. Speak to yourself with love and respect. Your body and soul will respond to this. True healing begins in the heart and spreads throughout your entire being. Chapter 5. The Story of the Musician and the Silent Melodies. In the royal palace, there lived a musician named Ravi, who was famous throughout the land. His music could make the sad laugh, calm the restless, and inspire the tired. The king loved him so much that he appointed him court musician. Ravi loved music above all else. Every morning he would get up at dawn and play various instruments: the sitar, the flute, the tabla. His house was filled with music from morning to night. But one day something terrible happened. Ravi fell ill with a mysterious disease that gradually took away his hearing. First, he stopped hearing high notes, then medium notes, and finally low notes. Within 6 months, he was completely deaf. Ravi fell into despair. How can a musician live without hearing? He asked himself. It's like a painter without eyes or a poet without words. He stopped playing. He let his instruments gather dust in a corner. He refused to see anyone. The king sent the best doctors, but no one could restore his hearing. Months passed. Ravi sat in his house in silence, feeling like the living dead. One day, his little granddaughter Priya came to him. "Grandpa," she said, "why don't you play anymore? I miss your music." Ravi shook his head sadly. "Child, I can't play. I can't hear." Priya thought to herself, "But Grandpa, I heard you playing last night. I woke up and heard a beautiful melody coming from your room." Ravi was confused. "That's impossible. I didn't play." "But you played," Priya insisted. "Maybe you played in your dream." That night, Ravi remembered his dream. He really did dream that he was playing. In his dream, he heard every note clearly and distinctly. He woke up with the melody in his head. He slowly approached his sitar. He placed his hands on it and began to play the melody from his dream. He could not hear the sound, but he could feel the vibrations of the strings. He could feel the rhythm in his heart. To his surprise, the music seemed beautiful. People who passed by his house would stop and listen. Some even cried with emotion. Ravi realized something important. Music does not begin in the ears. It begins in the heart. My subconscious remembers every note, every rhythm, every melody that I have ever played or heard. I play melodies that I have always known. He began to play regularly again. His music was different than before, deeper, more emotional, more spiritual. People said that his new music reached straight to their souls. Ravi discovered that when he could not hear external sounds, he could hear the inner music better. He heard the melodies of his heart, the rhythms of his soul, the harmony of his memories. One day, a young musician who was also losing his hearing came to him. "Master, how can you play so beautifully when you can't hear?" Ravi smiled. "Son, I have learned to listen to a different music, the music that plays inside each of us. It is the music of our emotions, our memories, our dreams. This music never stops." He began to teach the young man how to find this inner music. "Close your eyes," he told him, "and listen to your heart. It has its own rhythm. Listen to your breath. It has its own melody. Listen to your memories of the most beautiful music you have ever heard." The young musician learned to play not only with his hands, but with his whole heart. Even though he gradually lost his hearing completely, he became one of the best musicians of his time. Lesson: your subconscious stores all the beauty you have ever experienced. Even in the darkest moments, you can draw from this well and create something new and beautiful. Real music, real beauty, real wisdom, all of this lives inside you, waiting for you to discover it. Chapter 6: The Story of the Dreamer and the Bridge Between Worlds. In a mountain village, there lived a young man named Norbu, who had an unusual gift. His dreams were so vivid and clear that it often seemed that he lived in two worlds at once. By day, he worked as a shepherd, but at night, he traveled in his dreams to incredible landscapes, meeting wise animals and learning from ancient masters. The other villagers made fun of him. "Norbu lives in the clouds," they said. "Instead of focusing on real life, he gets lost in his dreams." Norbu began to feel ashamed of his dreams. He tried to suppress them, wanting to be normal like everyone else. But the more he tried to ignore his dreams, the more unhappy he felt. One day, he met an old pilgrim who was walking through the village. The pilgrim looked at him with piercing eyes and said, "Young man, I see that you carry a great secret within you. Why are you hiding it?" Norbu talked about his dreams. He told of the beautiful landscapes he had visited, the wise teachers he had met, the knowledge he had gained. The pilgrim listened attentively and then said, "Son, you have a rare gift. Your subconscious mind opens the gates to a world of wisdom for you. Dreams are not an escape from reality, they are a bridge to a deeper reality." "But people make fun of me," complained Norbu. "That's because they don't understand," replied the pilgrim. "But you can be a bridge between the dream world and the waking world. You can bring the wisdom of your dreams into your daily life." The pilgrim taught him a special technique. Every morning when you wake up, write down what you learned in your dream. Then think about how you can use that wisdom during the day. Norbu began to follow this practice. He found that his dreams really did bring him useful advice. Once he dreamt about medicinal herbs, and he really did find a plant that helped a sick neighbor. Another time, he dreamt about a hidden spring, and he found a new source of water for the village. Gradually, people began to notice that Norbu had unusual abilities. He could predict the weather, find lost animals, and give advice in difficult situations. "How do you do it?" they asked him. "I listen to my dreams," he answered simply. "Dreams are letters from our soul. They contain answers to questions we don't even realize we have." Norbu became a village counselor. People would come to him for advice, and he would always tell them, "Listen to your dreams. Each of you has access to the same wisdom as I do. You just have to learn to read the language of your subconscious." He taught people how to remember dreams, how to interpret them, how to draw wisdom from them for everyday life. Lesson: your dreams are sacred territory where your subconscious is trying to communicate with you. Don't dismiss them as meaningless fantasies. Listen to them, write them down, look for messages in them for your life. Chapter 7: The Story of a Mother and the Invisible Threads of Love. In a small village, there lived a woman named Tara who had 3 children. Her eldest son, Karma, was a model student. Her middle daughter, Pema, was a talented artist, but her youngest son, Lobsang, was a problem child. He was often naughty, did poorly in school, and seemed to have no interest in anything. Tara felt like a failed mother. Where did I go wrong? She asked herself. Why are two children successful and one not? One day, she visited a wise lama at a local monastery. She told him about her worries about Lobsang. The lama listened patiently and then said, Tara, each child comes into the world with its own task, its own pace, its own path. Your love for them is like the sun. It shines on everyone the same, but each flower blooms differently. But what should I do with Lobsang? He is not interested in anything. He is not interested in anything. The Lama thought to herself, maybe you are looking for his talent in the wrong places. Sometimes the greatest gifts are hidden where we least expect them. Tara returned home with a new perspective. Instead of focusing on Lobsang's shortcomings, she began to notice his strengths. She noticed that he had an unusual ability to understand animals. He could calm angry cows, find lost goats, heal sick animals. She also noticed that he had great empathy. When someone in the family was crying, Lobsang was always the first to notice and try to help, even if he didn't know how. Tara began to spend more time with Lobsang. Instead of forcing him to learn things that didn't interest him, she began to develop his natural talents. She taught him about animals, about nature, about how to help others. Gradually, Lobsang changed. As he found his place, he became happier and calmer. Although he still learned slowly at school, he found friends among the children that the others rejected. One day, Tara realized something important. Her love for children wasn't just conscious care. It was an invisible network that connected them all. Each child felt this love differently and responded to it differently. Our children's subconscious minds, she realized, are sensitive to our love and our fears, our hopes and our disappointments. When I focused on Lobsang's problems, he felt it and behaved even worse. When I began to believe in his good qualities, he began to grow. Tara became a wiser mother. She learned to speak to her children not only with words, but also with her heart. Before going to bed, she would always say to them, I am proud of you. I believe in you. I love you just the way you are. Her children grew up to be confident and kind people. Lobsang became a veterinarian and helped animals throughout the region. Lesson learned. Love is the most powerful force that can influence another person's subconscious mind. Your belief in other people, your acceptance of their uniqueness, your patience with their pace of growth, all of these create an invisible network of support that helps them flourish. Final wisdom: 7 keys to the subconscious. Dear souls, after all these stories, I give you 7 keys to understanding your subconscious. 1. The key of attention. Like Ananda the gardener, pay attention not only to what you see on the surface, but also to what is happening deep down. Your subconscious is constantly communicating with you through intuition, feelings, dreams, and sudden realizations. 2. The key of listening. Like Tenzin the fisherman, learn to read the signs beneath the surface. Your subconscious has its own language, the language of symbols, emotions, and inner voices. Listen to it in silence. 3. The key of love. Like Kailash the weaver, put love and positive intention into everything you do. Your subconscious responds more strongly to emotions than to logic. Love is the most powerful programming language of the subconscious. 4. The healing key. As the Pemba healer, speak to your body and mind with respect and kindness. Your subconscious controls all bodily functions and responds to your words and thoughts. Love is the most powerful programming language of the subconscious. 5. The inner music key. As the Ravi musician, trust that you carry within you all the beauty and wisdom you need. Even when you lose your outer supports, your inner treasures remain intact. 6. The dream key. As the Norbu dreamer, pay attention to your dreams. They are letters from your subconscious that contain answers, advice, and inspiration for your life.
7. The connection key. As Mother Tara, remember that we are all connected by invisible threads of love and empathy. Your subconscious influences not only you, but everyone around you. May the light of your subconscious light the way not only for you, but for all beings in all worlds. May all beings find peace, happiness, and liberation. With infinite love and blessings, Buddha. In the depths of silence, you will find the answers to all questions. In the depth of love, you will find the healing of all wounds. In the depth of trust, you will find the strength to face all challenges. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. I will do more of these stories for you. Have a nice day. May all beings be happy.